Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for Below Grade Level. Tell your parents you're going to a sleepover.
Hello and welcome to Below Grade Level, the show where we take the books we read as kids and read them as adults and ruin them. I'm one of your hosts, Jonathan Eaton. With me as always, Bekah Eaton.
Hi.
And Chris Zaleski. Nice. Very good.
Chris.
There's a TikTok I have to show you that's just this Australian guy, and it's just him standing around going like, fucking good day! And then he'll like open a beer, and then that's all it is.
That I have to say.
That's exactly what that made me think of.
I really hope,
I just want to be friends with him.
I'm
I want to befriend an Australian.
You seem like you got it figured out.
No.
That voice you just heard is our guest this episode, returning champion John Nagle.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going? Yeah, I'm excited.
It's going great. I'm excited. John, I think the last time you read with us was when we did Christopher Pike, because I think that was The Eternal Enemy, maybe? I remember talking to you about the robot girl before we knew she was a robot.
There was so many references to cookies and baking cookies and eating cookies and VCRs.
Yeah,
oh my god!
Yep, that was that book.
Was that the first few chapters of that book? Was all like, I love cookies and popcorn and boys and popcorn.
Yeah, that was.
And movies and boys. Human stuff.
Human stuff. That was when
there was so much. Yeah.
I remember she was throwing a party for 40 kids.
Yeah.
And we couldn't get past it.
Yeah. To sit around and watch a movie on a VCR.
Yeah.
And all she had was a deli tray or something.
Yeah, she had fucking crudité.
It was crudité, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what 40 ravenous high school kids want is
carrot sticks.
Carrot sticks and crudite.
Crudite.
Cold cucumbers. John, I cannot remember if you have read Sweet Valley High with us. Have you? Or do you remember?
I have
it's been
not
forever.
read Sweet Valley High.
Oh boy. Okay.
Do you know anything about Sweet Valley?
I know that the two girls on the cover are very blonde, and there's horses. Mm-hmm. There's some form of horses. And
there's probably a few books about horses, but they're not
has to be.
A regular feature. But there are two blonde girls. They're identical twins.
Are they twins?
I'm sure there's horse books.
You probably saw a cover of Jessica.
There was a book series called The Saddle Club, which is different.
No, this wasn't. No.
Can we do the Saddle Club?
I don't know if it's interesting. I don't think there's that much drama around horses.
I don't know. That got a good reaction from me, Chris.
I was not expecting to get 2 laughs.
I vote for doing a Saddle Club book.
God.
But yeah, John,
it really sucks that print media is dying, because I want writing one of these series to be my career.
Yes.
Yes.
I just think it just sounds. I have a friend who wrote these, and
that's incredible.
And she just said it was the easiest job ever, because you just had a Bible. And
the easiest, but also gotta be the most fun too.
Yeah.
John, you and I have talked about this before, not wanting to write chapter books like Sweet Valley High, but you and I have talked about this before, about how we both want to write for Lifetime movies.
Oh my God, that's all I want. All I want in this world.
It is. Yeah. I'll send it to you. I found a website that was literally here's step by step. It you want to be a Lifetime movie writer? Here's what you have to do. And it was really, really detailed. And I was like, this isn't a bad guide, actually.
Fucking do it.
The first, I know we talked about this also recently. The first step is just, you got to have a bunch of shit in the, in the can, basically ready to go. So I want to spend a a year writing Lifetime scripts, like spec scripts, and then like see if I can get this shit off the
Dude,
ground.
I volunteer myself to do anything.
Let's just make a pact with each other. Whichever
what
one
do
of
they
us
pay
gets
their
in.
writers, like a gift card to Outback Steakhouse, or
This article says you could make a blue collar living earning 5 figures per script. If that's even just 10 grand, I'll write some fucking Lifetime scripts for 10 grand. You kidding me?
all right.
I would like to read
I
you
do
the
want more than that,
titles
though.
of some Saddle Club books.
Yes,
if you'll
please.
allow it.
Yes,
Okay, I will allow
Just
it.
gonna rattle some off.
Uh-huh.
Horse Guest, Horse Race, Horse Whispers, Painted Horse, Rocking Horse, English Horse, Horse Fever, Dream Horse, A Summer Without Horses.
On the nose. A summer without horses.
And a different one called Nightmare.
But is it nightmare like Emmett? Like night?
I mean, Nightmare is already spelled like
I know,
M-A-R-E.
I know, but it's got to be like nightmare.
I don't know. I can't see the cover, but I would love that
It's
to be
gotta
true.
be nightmare.
Summer without horses.
Summer Without Horses.
Holy
What a
shit!
travesty!
It's their,
Oh my god,
it's
is that the
their first,
last Saddle Club?
It's their first super edition book, so it's like how they have the like double wide versions of some of these
Oh my
paperbacks. It's
God.
the first version of one
oh
of
my
those.
god!
Well, Nagle's already laughing, so this might be a good episode.
Here's the thing.
I hope it ends with an old woman coming out and being like, and that was the summer without horses.
I didn't. It's not that I didn't expect the word horse to be in the title. It's just that I didn't expect every title to have the word horse in it.
You can buy it for I could buy A Summer Without Horses for $4 from Etsy.
Holy shit. Okay. I gotta remember to look up Saddle Club and read one of those goddamn things.
I mean,
I'll make a note.
they're giving you what you pay for.
Yeah.
That's some horse content.
Wow, some horseplay. Okay. John, we are reading Sweet Valley High, Fight Fire with Fire, which is book number, I think it was like 140.
134.
134.
I just said it. I don't want to be wrong. 132.
The 132nd Sweet Valley High book. So we're deep into it at this point. And
So there's tons of lore.
oh,
Yes.
dude, this isn't
It's all
even
good though. They repeat it over and over. So
Yeah.
we're reading Sweet Valley High, which is like the core, like the main series that's them in high school. But there's also like several other series they're twins, by the way. So there's Sweet Valley Twins. That's like the kids version, so it's them younger. And then there's the SVU, Sweet Valley University books, where it's them in college. And then I think there's just like
There's
books
some
of
like
them as adults.
detective series specifically.
God, I really want to read one of those.
And there's a lot of weird different offshoot books when they're adults.
So yeah, there are literally
How come boys never got anything
boys never got anything.
like these? Like, I
Yeah.
want... No, we got everything except these.
You got
Like,
Goosebumps. You got like monsters and
would've-
stuff. You didn't get teen drama, at least as far
We
as
didn't
I'm
get
aware.
date rape.
Yeah, I want... this
Too
queer
bad.
boy wanted teen drama, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're gonna love this.
I
These
wanted
bitches are so
teen
catty.
ass drama.
Yeah.
Okay, Becca, why don't you
Oh, okay.
catch John
also,
and the listener
real
up?
quick,
Okay.
Nagle, if this book kills you from laughing too hard, you need to like say right now that we can't be held liable.
You can't be held liable, but just make sure BB plays Moon Song at my memorial service.
We'll make it happen.
And then, and also, one of you has to say, I heard you could get killed at that Kumite. And then the other person saying,
We'll start a Kumite chant.
only if you fuck up. Yeah. Well, but...
I remember you
that's
posting something a
also
while
gonna
ago
be
that
my
was
one-
like directed to me. It was just like, hey, you need to say this at my funeral. Was it that? It was
Yep.
okay. It was that.
Yes.
Nice.
And also, if Dylan and I ever go down the aisle, everyone's going to be chanting Kumite.
Kumite.
Hell
Fuck
yes.
yeah. I'll wear my Kumite shirt to your wedding.
Damn right, because it'll really confuse my mom. And that's the whole point of the exercise.
And not to bring it down, but if you ever get divorced, we'll chant 2 go in, 1 comes out.
Jesus fucking Christ.
To recap, the first 2 chapters of Fight Fire with Fire. So this is a 3-part, I think, series of books, and we are reading the second one by accident.
Yes.
So immediately, Lila is being arrested for arson. She is Jessica's friend and another teenager. The twins' older brother, Steven, is a lawyer intern working on the case, and he wants to bail Lila out and is basically told if he bails her out of jail, he'll get fired. So he immediately goes to bail her out of jail.
He had like a screaming fight with the DA, which I think is hilarious for an intern to do.
Yeah, he fought with the DA.
Intern.
He went to go bail her out of jail. Immediately, she was like, I need to go get my hair done. Jail's icky. And he's like, but I wanted to hang out with you. And she's like, I need a manicure. Goodbye. Steven is trying to solve this mystery of the arson. So, by the way, the arson is a restaurant was firebombed. And also Lila's
with people in
family's house, which I can only imagine is a giant mansion burned down.
Yeah, I'm picturing like the Laura Croft mansion.
Her parents are like out of town on an island or something and don't even know any of this is happening.
Oh, yeah. It was semi upsetting where it was just like, her parents are out of town and they're never around.
Yeah. Jessica and Elizabeth are not happy about Steven dating Lila at all. And rather than like trying to help her through this being accused of arson and house burning down thing, they are coming up with plans to break up Steven and Lila. And Steven thinks that this guy named John Pfeiffer did the arson because of the streaks on his printer and something about something that was printed. And I think that guy works at the newspaper.
I think I just blacked out whenever that was happening because I don't remember that information
I wrote
whatsoever.
a question mark as I was writing the note.
Yeah,
so
I think once
I
it
was
got
also confused.
I think once it gets into that detail of like, who really did the fight? I'm just like, I don't care. Where are the girls yelling?
Yeah, that's your job to solve it. Leave me out of it. And last note is they're like cutting back and forth between this arson stuff and this guy that seems to have nothing to do with it, named Devon Whitelaw, who is like I already said this out loud and it's so fucking drifter? Crazy I don't even want to say it again. His parents died. In order to collect his inheritance, he needs to have a legal guardian because he's under 18.
Yes.
So he's on his own traveling west to try to find family members.
Just
to find
burning through family.
Like to find a real family on an emotional level and a literal legal guardian so he can collect his inheritance.
Yes.
So I don't know what the fuck that's about.
I cannot wait to spend more time with Devon Whiteclaw.
Yes.
Okay, but I want to know what weird, obscure candy his parents invented to give him said fortune.
Yes.
Like, you know, something to make, like...
Just like taffy or something.
I think it's the what's that dot candy called? The little dots on the paper.
Oh, yeah. I think it's just called dot candy.
Dot candy?
Yeah.
Button candy.
Oh, yeah.
Button candy.
But, yeah...
The stuff, that shit that
with
like
the real taste of paper.
Yeah, I was gonna say like you would always
there's always
just
paper,
eat
and you just be like,
with
I'm
it.
okay with
You're
this.
Like that's fine. I guess it's it's 90% candy.
Yeah, the candy will dissolve the paper in my stomach.
I just need that sugar.
Yeah.
Let's get into this. Sweet Valley High, Fight Fire with Fire, Chapter 3. Hey. Devon was back in position, contemplating the crack in the ceiling when there was a rap on the door of his motel room. The bed springs creaked in protest as Devon hauled himself to his feet. He opened the door and shut his eyes tight for a moment against the wave of bright sunshine that flooded the room. Meow! An unusually loud voice announced.
Mail?
Mail.
Does mail get hand-delivered
to a motel
room?
I don't think so.
What if our mailman said that?
If Jeff said...
What if he knocked on the door and said, mail?
I would be like, hey. Awesome, it's mail time. Thanks. Devon opened his eyes and accepted the stack of envelopes that was thrust toward him.
Ooh.
He glanced at the desk clerk. He was a skinny, stoop-shouldered fellow in his late 40s with pockmarked skin and thick, black-framed glasses. Instead of turning away, the clerk kept standing there wearing a bewildered expression.
He sounds like a young old man.
Yes.
It sounds like he's describing an old child.
A Benjamin Button, if you will.
Yeah. Oh, Devon said after a moment. I get it. You want a tip. He fished in the pocket of his jeans and handed the guy $1. The clerk accepted it without a word and shuffled away. Everybody's got their hand out, Devon thought sourly as he closed the door. He sat on the
This kid doesn't have a complex.
That guy's doing his job, damn. He sat on the edge of his bed and rifled through the envelopes, examining the return addresses. Connecticut Department of Taxation and Finance, law firm of Boyd, Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. Ha 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 ha.
Oh,
Really?
Egress Funeral Home, Havermeyer Landscaping. All legal stuff and bills, except for the fake one, Devon realized. He wrapped the mail against his palm. You look so angry.
I'm just... Fucking no. Just come up with a better joke or none.
Yeah. He wrapped the mail against his palm and then tossed the entire stack into the wastebasket. Why should I care about all that stuff? He wondered. It's all
money.
part of my past.
No, it's...
I thought it was part of his active quest.
It's part of your current situation.
Yeah.
You didn't fake your own death.
After a moment, Devon sighed with resignation and fished the stack of mail out of the wastebasket. It wasn't as if he had anything better to do. Devon thumbed through the stack until he came across a small white envelope. It was addressed in neat handwriting rather than a computer-generated label like the rest of the mail. Devon read the name and address. Nan Johnstone, 13 Hummingbird Lane, Sweet Valley, California. Oh, that sounds sweet.
Nan
Johnstone.
Johnstone?
Yes.
Okay.
Stone specifically.
I didn't know if it was Nan John Stone or
Nan Johnstone.
Johnstone. Or all one. Nan Johnstone.
Nan Johnstone.
Nan Johnstone.
Why did that sound so familiar? Then in a rush, it came back to him, and he almost dropped the envelope. Nana!
But, okay, but isn't Nan's a name, right?
It is. So,
Yeah.
well,
Can
and
be.
here's the thing it's weird that he would call her Nana. I don't know. Lindsay's grandmother is named Nancy, and they call her Nan. Which kind of covers Nancy and Nan,
Nana.
like Nana.
Yeah, okay.
But her name being Nan and calling her
economical-
Nana is a little weird, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's a very efficient grandparent name.
Yeah.
It is. They thought ahead.
Warm feelings flooded through him as he recalled the woman who had been his childhood nanny. With her sweet face and auburn hair pinned on top of her head, she had seemed like an angel.
Okay.
She was also
hold
a
on.
nanny?
I don't know.
Warm feelings. Oh my god.
Nan,
Don't like
Nana, and Nanny. Sorry. I just like...
Nana, Nanny, Johnstone.
Yeah, fucking...
You know, that old Cartoon Network cartoon. Nan, and Nanny. He recalled Nana, or Nana, smiling at him as she pulled a tray of cookies from the
Sometimes
oven.
we called her Nangerine. Thanks, Chris.
Nana holding him up to see the puppies in a pet store window. For years, Nana had dried his tears and bandaged his skinned knees, and then ellipses. Devon's throat closed, and he felt as if someone had drenched him with an icy bath. The happy recollections were replaced with the memory of the day at age 7 when he had stood in the kitchen with Nana and his parents, sobbing hysterically. It was the day his mother told him that Nana was leaving.
Jesus.
Oh, stop whining, his mother had scolded in an icy voice.
Damn.
Oh, I'm sorry, an icy voice. Oh, stop whining, his mother had scolded
the rich
in an
into
icy
it.
voice. He had tried to run to Nana, but his mother had pulled him back by the shoulder with a firm grip.
God.
Act like a big boy now. His father. Oh, sorry, his father. I was trying a new voice for the
I
mother.
like it.
I do too.
It sounds like Jake's parents from Adventure Time.
Yes.
Act like a big boy now. His father had admonished him. You're too old for a babysitter anymore.
What, 7?
Devon-
At 7?
7?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Rich
perfectly
7 is
self-sufficient.
normal kid 13.
Devon had broken away from his mother and run to his nanny. She had tried to hide the tears in her eyes as she hugged him. You be a big grown-up boy like your mama and daddy say, she had whispered. This time his father had pulled him away. Go to your room, he had thundered.
Oh, man. They're really giving Devon this rich, tragic backstory.
7-year-old Devon had hidden just outside the door of the kitchen and overheard the brief conversation between Nana and his parents. Nana had begged them to reconsider and let her stay on. He remembered his father telling her that he knew what was best for their son. Devon swallowed hard. Then Nana had turned their back and walked away without ever really saying goodbye.
You're too
He
close
never
to the
heard from her
boy.
again. Through all the years of birthdays and Christmases, all the other holidays in between, there never even been a phone call or a letter. Dear Stan, Devon turned the envelope over and over. Why had she contacted him now after all these
Because
years?
his parents were dead, finally.
How
Voices
does
had
she know he's
whispered
in
the
a
obvious
motel?
answer.
Yeah, is there like
Money.
forwarding
Mail
address?
forwarding, yeah.
How long's he fucking been there?
I don't know.
There was no internet either, so yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
she had been writing him all these years,
He held the
but because his parents are dead, like
Oh, they threw the letters in the trash.
yeah. Oh no! Don't get sad.
No.
like a Forrest Gump situation.
Oh, did that happen to Forrest Gump?
He held the in Forrest Gump, like he sends Jenny a letter every week and she never gets them because she's not in Alabama anymore.
Oh,
Remember?
Forrest. No,
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
remember. It's been a
It's
while.
been 30 years.
Anyway, it's not. He held the envelope in between his palms for several minutes. He wanted to know what she had to say, but he was afraid too. He had been disappointed so many times that he was scared by the leap of hope his heart had taken when he saw her name. Devon slid his finger up to the corner of the envelope flap and ripped along the crease. He pulled out a small white card with silver lettering. In sympathy, he read aloud. Okay, let's see how sympathetic you really are.
What the fuck?
Jesus.
I don't love
He opened
you.
the card. I choose you, is what it said. He opened the card and began to read. After a moment, he bit his lip. Blood poured out. Nana had run into a former employee of the White Claws who had told her about the death of his parents. She had tried to phone him again and again, but no one had answered. Except for ghosts! Devon's eyes blurred slightly as he read the last paragraph. Quote, I hope this card will find its way to you and that you will come to visit me here in Sweet Valley. You are always welcome in my home, Devon. I have missed you so terribly all these years. Please accept my invitation. It would mean so much to me. With love, Nana. Devon
Nana.
closed the card. Nana. Devon closed the card. And put it beside him on the faded, stained blanket. Gross. He shut his eyes to hold back the tears. If you missed me so much, why didn't you let me know? He whispered. A long sigh escaped his lips. Would Nana lie to him and use him as his relatives had? He wanted, no, needed, to believe she really cared. Her card had sounded so sincere. The guy next door started blasting country music station again.
Oh boy. Devon briefly considered banging on the wall once more. He raised his fist, then decided it wasn't worth the trouble. He got to his feet and pulled his duffel bag out from under the bed. Then he began throwing his clothes into it. He was sick of feeling sorry for himself, sick of lying around acting defeated. Sweet Valley, California, he said, considering his next destination.
Sound like Die Hard. Sweet Valley, California. Come out to the coast, have a couple laughs.
For the first time in weeks, he felt the corners of his mouth turn up into a smile. He pictured blue, cloudless skies and pristine beaches, an endless procession of beautiful California girls, all of them friendly and full of life.
Just like in that David Lee Roth song.
Devon pushed the last of his clothes into the duffel bag and jerked the zipper closed. I might as well go and find out whether Nana really cares or if she's just after my money, he thought. Besides, what did he have to lose? He took a look around the room at the sagging mattress, worn carpet, and stained, peeling walls. He decided he didn't want to end up like the loser next door, holed up in his dingy pit of a room day after day.
Oh my
Whatever lay
God.
ahead in whatever lay ahead in Sweet Valley had to be a whole lot better than this place.
See, I assumed he was already in Sweet Valley last time we read, and I was like, this guy's the arsonist. Like this random dude that we're talking
I thought so
about
too.
is the arson. But
I don't know what this is going to have to do with anything.
Yeah, I can't wait to find
Also-
out what role he has to play in all
Yeah.
of this.
Also, isn't this last paragraph the first line of the Squeeze song, Tempted? I got a suitcase, a funnel for my face. I
Oh my
said
God.
to my reflection, let's get out of
Oh
this
my
place.
God.
Like,
This is
Devon
his theme
definitely did
song.
that. Yeah.
Sometime later, Lila clutched her notebook against the front of her white dress as she threaded her way through the throngs of students in Sweet Valley High's crowded main hallway.
All around her, the tide of people hurried by. Lockers slammed shut and groups of kids chatted and laughed. Lila gritted her teeth. This is worse than jail, she thought. Usually, she felt like a part of all the cheerful chaos, but not today. Instead, she was painfully aware of the whispers and stares and the way people seemed to stop in mid-sentence when she came near. Lila squared her shoulders, lifted her head high, tits out, and forced herself to gaze back at her onlookers, nod, and say hello as she passed. But she felt like ducking into one of the empty rooms and curling up in a closet until the bell rang. Lila caught a glimpse of some of the cheerleaders, Amy Sutton, Heather Malone, Maria Santelli, and Annie Whitman, along with a few other friends hanging out by the water fountain. My real friends will stand by me, she thought. She quickened her pace and hurried to meet them as if she were heading for an oasis in the desert. Hi guys, she said cheerily when she reached the group. She
So
waited
cheery.
she waited for them to
Hi,
turn and
guys.
welcome her. It was the 90s. You weren't allowed to be enthused about anything. She
Yeah.
waited for them to turn and welcome her, figuring they'd be full of questions about what had happened. Surely they wanted to hear all about how terribly the Sweet Valley Police Department had treated her.
Surely.
Instead, a hush fell over the small crowd. Hi, Lila, Maria said, looking quickly and running a hand over her curly brown hair. Hey! What's going on? Annie asked in an obviously forced, cheerful tone. That's a stupid question, Amy said, elbowing Annie in the ribs. Annie's cheeks flamed red like her hair, and she stared at her sneakers as if they were the most fascinating things on the planet. There's certainly a lot of things going on in the life of Sweet Valley's hottest criminal, Heather said with a sneer.
She's like, thank you.
She flipped her long blonde hair over her shoulder and looked Lila up and down with disdain. Tell me, Lila, are you planning to wear that innocent white dress to your trial? Or will you go with something and say, Fire Engine Red? Lila gasped. Amy's
Because of
That's a-
fire.
That's a good burn.
Oh!
Bird. Hey.
Lila gasped as Amy stifled a snort of laughter, and Heather had never been the best of friends. But Lila couldn't believe that Heather would want to hurt her this way. Could she possibly be more blatantly evil? And what's the deal with airline
Yes.
food? Hey, Heather, Maria said, looking up. Back off a little. Yeah, Annie chimed in, her voice quiet. Innocent until proven guilty and all that. Whatever, Heather said with a shrug. But I'd stay away from her if I were you guys. The Fowler Harris could turn out to be a hazard to your health. Oh.
Damn, Heather. Heather's like, you going to jail is the best fucking thing
because
that ever
the
happened
fire
to me.
killed her parents or whatever.
No one died. I think if someone
I
had
don't
died, they
remember.
probably wouldn't have let her out of jail.
Yeah, her parents are on vacation or something.
Yeah, they're in the Banana Islands.
The what?
With that, Heather turned and flounced away. How do you flounce? Is you have to like? Yeah, I was just gonna say like.
It's very springy.
I imagine she's got like puppy
this.
sleeves. They go up and down when she walks.
Yeah. When she walks in, they're just like...
And her skirt's like... Flip,
flip, flip, flip, flip. Her whole outfit's just like... Amy at her heels. Sorry, lie. Sorry.
What?
It just says sorry, L-I. But I'm like...
Lie.
Lie?
As in
It's
lie.
like Lila. Yeah. Sorry, lie, Maria said with a tight smile. I gotta get to class. Maria walked away. Not flounced. Walked. And Annie scurried after her like the fucking mouse she was, stopping long enough to send Lila a guilt-ridden glance over her shoulder. Lila's mind spun out of control, and she felt sick to her stomach. She vomited. This isn't fair, she wailed inwardly. How can my friends be so cold? Taking a few deep breaths to prevent herself from crying, Lila leaned back against the cool wall. The most important thing was that she remained composed. No, sorry, Lila. The most important thing is that you get cleared for arson.
Yes.
That you didn't commit.
Also,
She didn't want...
I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, I know I'm being pedantic here, but, like, even if you're, like...
No, that's all we do.
Even if you're super rich and stuff, I would think, firebombing a restaurant would, like, keep you in
Yes!
jail for a while. Right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. Yes. Yeah. Yes, definitely.
I don't think Bill would
With
be
people in it.
still-
No one died,
like-
but people were in it.
Maybe it would help if we had read the first book, but they think it was her just because she was at the restaurant and like went to the bathroom when the firebombing happened.
Yeah.
But I assume there were plenty other people in and around the restaurant.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Yeah, I truly don't know. She didn't want Heather to have the satisfaction of hearing about Lila's tearful breakdown in the hall. Just when Lila thought she had control of herself, she saw something that made her stomach lurch all over again. Caroline Pierce, the most accomplished gossip at Sweet Valley High, SVH, was barreling down the hall, heading straight for Lila. As she came...
I like to think she's just like shoving people out of the way.
just like running at full force, but
Yeah.
like elbow checking everybody.
Yeah.
As she came closer, her grin stretched wider and wider. It was horrific. Like a spider on the trail of a fly, Lila thought.
On
Why?
the trail of a fly?
On the trail of a fly? That's not how spiders
No,
work. Spiders don't hunt.
Yeah. I'm like,
They
I
wait.
smell the trail of a fly.
What? That would smell like shit.
A fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She pushed herself away from the wall and tried to hurry past Caroline, but the tall red head planted herself in Lila's path. Lila got a whiff of her pungent perfume and swallowed hard to keep from puking on Caroline's faux leather sandals.
Oh my
God damn. This is
That
an
cheap bitch.
awesome confrontation already.
Lila, Caroline cried. I wondered when you'd be coming back to school. She dropped her voice to a confidential whisper. Frankly, I admire your nerve. She blinked rapidly and shook her head. If I knew everyone was calling me a criminal behind my back, well, I'd just die. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Caroline, Lila muttered. She tried to move on, but Caroline hurried along beside her. Even if everyone else thinks you bombed that restaurant, Lila, I'm not convinced.
What
Caroline
a thing to say to
breathed.
I
someone.
mean,
I don't believe those rumors that you set fire to your house either. She flashed a self-satisfied look. Lila kept her eyes trained straight ahead and quickened her pace. You know, Lila, if you ever need a sympathetic ear, I'm here for you, Caroline said. She moved in closer and put her hand on Lila's arm. Her touch made Lila's skin crawl. You can tell me anything.
My God.
Lila felt an angry lump rising in her throat. This is too much, she thought. As if she would ever be stupid enough to trust Caroline of all people. Did the girl think that Lila was going to reveal exactly how she had constructed the bomb or something? She jerked back her arm. Crawl back under your rock, Caroline, she sniffed. Your act isn't fooling me. She pushed past the girl and continued down the hall, leaving Caroline staring after her open-mouthed.
the nerve of some people, Lila thought.
The nerve of some
Sorry.
people.
Thanks.
Oh, hold on. I'm borrowing again. Oh, yeah.
I get confused. Go ahead. Sorry, Chris.
All right, Chris.
All right. The nerve of some people, Lila thought, straightening her skirt as she walked. She's just happy everyone forgot about her at that party, handing out handies left and right. As she neared her locker, Lila saw Jessica and Elizabeth approaching. She caught her breath in her throat. She had a fleeting moment of longing to pour out her heart to Jessica. Lila swallowed hard. I can't confide in her, she reminded herself. Now that Lila's relationship with Stephen had come between her and Jessica, she felt worlds apart from her ex-best friend. Things will never be the same with us again, she thought with a pang of regret. If Jessica disapproved of my dating Stephen before, it's probably worse now that I've been in jail, she realized. Lila looked the other way as Jessica... Lila looked the other way as Jessica and her sister came closer, intending to ignore them, as she knew they would her. Wait, which one's the good one? Jessica or Elizabeth?
Elizabeth.
Okay. Hi, Lila, Jessica said warmly. How are you holding up? Elizabeth asked in a soothing tone. Lila looked at them, confused and wary, because she did not trust those bitches.
Nor should she.
Nope.
Okay, I guess, she said softly. She wanted to keep her guard up in case Jessica intended to stab her or scoff at her, the way Heather had. As well as can be expected, Jessica bit her lip. For what it's worth, I don't think you're guilty. Lila gave Jessica a long look. She appeared to be sincere, and Lila had known the girl long enough to be able to tell when she was lying.
A wave of relief washed over her. Thanks, Jess, she murmured, her eyes filling with hot tears. She forced herself to keep her voice from quavering. Does this mean that Jessica wants to be friends again? Were Jessica and Elizabeth really going to stand by her? Lila turned to her lockers and spun the dial, not wanting them to see the tears of
Oh my God, Lila! I feel so bad for her.
I know. All she'll have left is money.
If it might do that,
she'll just be drying her tears while her parents are in Bali or something.
Hang in there.
Yeah.
Hang in there, Lila, Elizabeth said, patting her on the shoulder like she's that cat in that poster. I'll see you later. Lila felt Elizabeth move away as she kept her blurry eyes fixed on her lock. Take care, Li, Jessica said, inching away. What?
Itching.
Bye, Lila said.
Yeah,
just backing up, yeah.
She looked...
Little scoots.
Bye, Lila said weakly. She looked up and watched Jessica walk off down the hall. Did... Hang on, sorry, I lost my place. Did Jessica really believe her? Or was she just being polite? Lila's heart ached for a time when she and Jessica would have been sauntering through school together, chatting about meaningless things like fashion and makeup. She sighed, until just now, she'd forgotten how much she missed Jessica being her best friend.
Ugh.
She remembered how great Jessica had been right after the fire. She had convinced Lila... I can't believe this.
This is what you missed reading all your fucking Goosebumps shit. You could have been reading about teenagers going shopping.
This is right up the... I haven't been so good at this, damn it. John sauntered up to her and be like, what's up, Li? She remembered how great Jessica had been right after the fire. She convinced Lila to go on a whirlwind shopping spree to replace all the clothes she had lost in the fire, and to cheer Lila up. Wait, what? Dude.
What a good friend.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh my God. At the time, Lila had barely been able to get interested, but Jessica had persisted. In the end, Lila had told Jessica to take the clothes home with her. With Fowler Crest, the name of her house. See, like, you know you're rich when your house has a name.
Yeah.
With Fowler Crest in ruin, she didn't have room for them anyway, and she just couldn't concentrate on the way she looked when her life was in such a shambles. But at least Jessica had started out with good intentions. This is another question I have, is that their house burned down recently.
Mm-hmm.
Did her parents leave town after the house burned down, or have they just been out of town and the house burned down?
I think that they've been out of town the whole time.
That's what I would have thought. That's what I thought too, but then I was like, wouldn't they have been told? Like, hey, your fucking house burned down.
I don't know what the timeline is.
Yeah.
Because we missed a whole book. I guess the house was first and then the restaurant?
Yes, the house was first and then the restaurant. I'm just saying, like,
where is she staying other than jail? Where has she been staying?
Where is she staying? Why the fuck aren't her parents here? Like, it doesn't matter
you
how...
wouldn't just, like, finish your vacation after your whole ass house burns
Even if
down.
you're stupid rich, you wouldn't be like, I'll deal with this later. You'd be like, my fucking house burned down? Fowler Crest? That place I named? Sorry.
Also, I'm just saying, like, I'm not a father, but if I was a father, if my child was accused of firebombing a Chili's, I think I would, like, I think that's one of the things that you sort of, like, drop everything and that becomes the focus now.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
One would think.
Oh my god.
Firebombing a Chili's sounds like slang for clogging the toilet.
It sounds like the name of a Electric Six song.
Firebombing a Chili's.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's way better. That's a way better joke than what Chris said.
It's just a less gross one.
Look, I just like to give you good feedback.
Thank you.
At least Jessica had started out with good intentions. A pained grimace. A painted grimace, like a clown. A pained grimace swept over Lila's face as she recalled how cold Jessica had turned when she'd found out that Lila was dating her brother, something that Jessica wanted to do but could never admit to anybody. Lila's shoulders sagged under the heavy burden of the memory. She hated that they had let a guy come between them, even a guy as perfect as Steven, again, who is one of their brothers.
And is the sibling of one of them.
Uh-huh. She and Jessica had been best friends all their lives. Was it really over for good? Lila tossed her long brown hair behind her shoulders. That was the least of her worries, she realized. I may miss Jessica, but I've got to make sure I stay out of jail. Yes. Okay, good.
Yeah, that's
Priorities.
important.
It's somewhere on the list.
She hasn't totally forgotten about it. She was about to grab her French book when she spied an envelope propped up on the top shelf of her locker.
Ooh.
She picked it up and turned it over curiously. The stationery was nothing special. The envelope looked like it had come from one of those pre-packaged sets at the drugstore. You know, an envelope.
Okay.
Not a handmade envelope.
Who would give me such a thing, she wondered.
Pre-packaged? Aren't all of them?
I guess if you buy a single card, it has
myself.
its own separate envelope, but like I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between one that came in a box or not. Lila tore open the envelope. I'm going to call it and say drink every time they say envelope, because it's been a lot
Yeah.
so far.
Gotta get that word count.
And pulled out a piece of ordinary computer paper. Ooh, I wonder if there's streaks on it.
Oh, shit.
The minute she saw the signature, her heart leapt. Oh, no, it's not. It was a note from Steven. She pressed her lips together tightly. What would he say? He had given her the cold shoulder all the way home from the police station the other day, not understanding why she would rather spend some time at the spa than with him, that asshole. After that, Lila hadn't heard from him until now. Her hands trembled as she started to read. And here's my question. Did he handwrite it on computer paper or type her out a note and print it? Because that's insane.
Okay, here's my other question. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying, if I bailed someone out,
Mm-hmm.
and I assume the bail for arson is quite high,
I would think so.
I would hope they would want to hang out with me for a little bit. You know?
Yeah. Or
Like-
even to be like, I just want to go home and sleep in my own bed, which obviously she couldn't because her house burned down. But like something comforting, not like I need to immediately leave jail and go to a spa.
Also, you're down, so I think you'd be more worried about your house being not there anymore.
Yeah.
Ugh.
She's real stressed out though. She started to read the letter. Moments later, her lips curved into a gentle smile. She felt warm all over as his words leapt off the page and into her heart. Everything Heather and
Gross.
Amy and Caroline had said, the pain looks from Maria and Annie, slowly faded away. Stephen hoped she was all right. He missed her. He believed in her. She was his princess. Yuck! And he loved and adored her. Gross. Lila stopped reading for a moment and savored the romantic words. She suddenly longed to see him with a searing intensity. Lila ran her fingers gently over the page as if she were caressing Stephen's face.
Ugh.
But then as she read on, the smile disappeared from her lips. The sweet romantic words had changed, and she didn't like what they said.
Why aren't we just reading this?
Reading what?
The letter.
It's about to skip to that,
Oh,
which I'm
okay.
mad about
Yep.
because now it's Chris's page, but it looks fun. Oh, it's terrible.
I can just imagine our future. We'll have a simple wedding in my parents' backyard. There'll be family and a few friends, only the people we care about the most. And we can have a cookout and pool party after the ceremony. You know, like most weddings. Then,
Yeah, I love the
spending our-
After wedding
wedding pool party.
Then, after spending our honeymoon kayaking and camping in the mountains, we'll settle down in a modest house with a porch swing and a white picket fence. It will have a few extra bedrooms, of course, for all the little Wakefields we'll have running around. The girls will have your beauty, and the boys will have my intelligence.
What?
She is in high school, dude.
This is a letter that Steven wrote her?
Yeah.
What
It
the
gets
Well,
better.
so it said it's on computer paper, and my question is it handwritten on computer paper or typed on computer paper? But still, Steven seems like a big sap, so it could be real Steven.
I guess. That
All right.
This is crazy.
It gets way better.
Cool.
Life will be one big family barbecue. And with my beautiful wife by my side, with you by my side, Lila, I know I'll be successful in the DA's office. The pay will be next to nothing, but it will be enough to
What?
support us, although we'll have to give up certain comforts.
The fuck who writes that in a letter?
I mean,
What? This is bleak.
Yeah.
Also, don't lawyers make a lot of fucking money?
not the DA.
I don't know.
I don't know about DA lawyers. I don't
Okay,
know.
so-
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
the fact that
if you're a state lawyer, you don't
Yeah.
you don't make as much.
to write a romantic letter and be like, by the way, we are going to be poor as
Yeah.
fuck, so you're going to have to get used to that.
And I don't know if you've been able to tell by the way I've been talking, but you will stay at home.
Yeah, you're going to stay at home and have a litter of children, and I'm going to make no money
I'm going
for
to keep you pregnant.
Yeah.
And guess what? With the children, not going to be that involved. It's going to be mostly your job.
You're
Yeah,
going to be really busy at the DA's office.
I'm going to come home every day. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to fall asleep pretty instantly.
But also,
Lila could feel her blood boil.
I'm going to take you out one night a month because I'm just that good of a guy.
It's a chili.
Oh, that's what I was going to. Well, I know. I was going to say the Sizzler.
Whichever restaurant hasn't burned down.
Yeah.
Which.
Whichever restaurant you haven't burned down yet. Lila could feel her blood boil with disappointment and anger. How could he think that she would be satisfied with staying home in some little shack taking care of a bunch of brats?
I am on Lila's side at this point.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, until I read the next sentence, but okay.
Certainly not a trip to Aspen for her days at the spa, or real necessities like manicures and champagne and escargot. Who would she socialize with? A bunch of women who colored their hair with a kid at home and never set foot inside a salon? Women who had no sense of fashion and wore sagging sweatpants over their funny backsides every day.
Oh
Whoa.
my god.
Oh, Lila.
Lila.
Who clipped coupons and bought their furniture on sale from department stores?
Oh my god.
Lila felt faint.
I could never.
She thought her romance was... She thought her romance was so perfect, and then she had to read this. Lila threw the letter back
That's
on the
why
shelf
women
and
shouldn't
slammed
read.
her locker shut.
Never should have taught him.
If that's what Steven has in mind for the future, he obviously has no idea who he's dealing with. She fumed silently. She kicked the locker for emphasis, and then winced when a bolt of pain shot up from her toe all the way up to her
Oh
leg.
my god.
Lila looked down at her injured foot. Brilliant, Fowler. She scolded herself. Yeah, brilliant.
I like that she
Kicking
calls
inanimate
herself
objects
Fowler.
when you're wearing open-toed sandals.
You dumb bitch.
Straightening herself up, Lila tried to retain some semblance of calm. She tossed her hair over her shoulder and stalked down the hallway towards class, limping slightly but keeping her head held high. When I get through this day, Lila promised herself, I am going to give Stephen Wakefield a piece of my mind. She swung open the door to her French classroom, and all eyes turned to stare at her. Lila's defiant spirit withered. If I get through this day, I think Lila's just beginning to understand the nuanced complexities of Stephen Wakefield. Elizabeth said with a giggle.
Elizabeth.
What the
Oh
fuck,
my
Elizabeth?
God.
I was on your side before, but I guess 125 books have passed since then.
The bell had just rung, signaling the start of first period, but Jessica had convinced Elizabeth to hang out long enough to see Lila's reaction. The two girls were huddled in the empty hallway around the corner of Lila's locker, and watched as she stormed off. Elizabeth brushed a strand of hair off her forehead and grinned at her sister. You mean the simplicities of Stephen Wakefield, Jessica joked. You know, Jessica, Elizabeth began, starting to walk towards the stairwell. When I first read that letter, I thought you were laying on the whole Little House on the Prairie thing a little too thick.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got to admit, it worked.
Okay. But my hunch was right, and Jessica definitely wrote that fucking letter.
Yes.
Conniving bitch.
Validation.
Jessica gave Elizabeth a satisfied smile as she strolled along at her side. Everyone thinks you're the only writer in the family, but I've got talent too, especially when it comes to ruining lives.
And manipulation.
The only thing I am more talented at than writing is manipulating people. As you never forget to remind anyone who will listen, Elizabeth quipped. Was it a quip, though?
It wasn't a whip.
It was not a
Kind of
quip.
mean.
She shifted her books to her other hip and sighed. Even though she was glad that their letter had the desired effect, she couldn't help feeling a bit guilty about the way she and
That's
Jessica
good.
were
At least
treating
she
Lila.
can still feel guilt.
There's still like a moral fiber in there. Do you think we're doing the right thing? Elizabeth rightly asked as Jessica pushed through the doors to the stairwell. Lila has been through a terrible time lately. Her house was burned down. She was framed for it and went to jail. It's fucking crazy. Now we're lying to her on top of all that. It's the worst one yet. Jessica's eyes widened and she stopped in her tracks. Elizabeth Wakefield, can you stop having a conscience for 5 seconds? Oh, wait. Oh, hang on a second. Elizabeth Wakefield, can you stop having a conscience for 5 seconds? She shrieked.
John, is your mic on?
Jesus.
Oh, it definitely just Zoom knew I was peaking and didn't let you hear how loud
You
I
guys
was.
were protected, but I wasn't.
Yeah, I was watching your reaction the whole time, and it was hilarious.
Keep your fucking voice down, Elizabeth hissed as Jessica's shout echoed through the empty hallways. She halted on the second step and turned to look down at her sister. In 2 ways. Literally and metaphorically looking down on her sister.
Oh, yeah.
All I'm saying is we might have crossed a line by forging a letter from Stephen. Maybe we did something sneaky, Jessica answered in a hoarse whisper. But it's not like we really lied. That is the way Stephen envisions his future. True, Elizabeth said thoughtfully. And if it'll keep Lila away from him, I guess it's worth it.
I hope Stephen never talks to his sisters again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but like, if she is just a gold digger,
He doesn't have gold.
I don't think
He's
she is
gonna
a gold
be-
digger, though. Is she?
No, I think she just likes him.
Yeah.
Obviously, because he is broke.
Yeah.
Hey. Thank you. I'll be here all hour.
Stephen's happiness is the most important thing, Jessica said, stepping up and looking Elizabeth in the eyes. We did this for him. Elizabeth nodded. When Jessica put it that way, the letter didn't seem so bad. Once Stephen realized how wrong he and Lila were for each other and they broke up, he'd probably even thank his sisters for doing him such a great favor.
Mm-hmm.
After all, he was usually just as logical and level-headed as Elizabeth herself. He'd know that writing the letter was in his best interests. There's no earthly
no,
way
absolutely
that's
not.
the reaction. Suddenly, a light bulb went off in Elizabeth's mind. You know, Jess, she said, draping her arm around her sister's shoulders and starting back up the stairs again. Our next project is to get him back together with Billy. Billy with an IE.
Silas?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Holiday.
ideally.
Whoa, I've created a monster, Jessica said, pulling away and skipping up the last few steps. How do you skip upstairs?
Oh my God.
One
step
plan
on a
at a
higher
time,
one.
Liz.
I feel like if I was like, I'm going to skip up these steps, I would just instantly eat shit.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, Elizabeth laughed as she breezed past Jessica into the hallway of the second floor. Operation Breakup is fully underway.
They get a more creative name at least.
These Wakefields, I tell
Yeah.
you.
Chapter 4. Stephen paused and took a deep breath before entering the DA's office. He wondered if he should have bothered wearing his gray wool suit. Why dress for work when you probably wouldn't be working? He realized he was grinding his teeth and stopped. Wearing a suit was a show of respect, he decided. He was going to show how he felt about the internship and the legal profession, even if he was going to be fired. Stephen started to open the door, noticed his hand was shaking, and pulled back. He had to try to look professional. Wiping his hand on his thigh, he squared his shoulders. Then he grasped the brass handle, swung open the door, and entered the office with what he hoped was a confident-looking stride.
That was a real Bekah page. All he did was open a door.
He also shook and sweated nervously.
I'll read the next one if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, Chris, read the next
All right.
one. That wasn't any fun for you to read.
But when he thought
It
about
wasn't any fun for me to listen to.
but when he thought about seeing the DA, he felt about as confident as a turkey on Thanksgiving.
Oh my God.
The moment Stephen entered the office, he could feel everyone's eyes on him, but they all looked away before he met their gaze. That can't be a good sign, Stephen thought. The knot in his stomach tightened. His coworkers seemed to be expecting the worst, as did he. As Stephen walked towards his cubicle, he could hear his heart pounding in his ears. Boop, 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 boop. Suddenly, the DA stuck his head out of his office as if he had picked Stephen up on his internal radar. "Wakefield, I want you in here right now," Garrison barked. Stephen lifted his chin. "I had to do what I believed was right," he reminded himself, "and I didn't think it was right to leave Lila in that jail cell. If that's going to cost me my job, so be it." Stephen took a deep breath and headed into Joe Garrison's office.
Ooh, Joe. We get a first name.
Oh, finally.
The DA paced behind his huge black desk, his meaty hands clasped behind his back. "Sit down, Stephen,"
He sounds
said
like a
quietly.
butcher.
Yeah.
"What I have to say won't take long." Stephen slid into a leather chair and pretended to flick a speck of lint from his lapel in an attempt at nonchalance. His hands were still shaking slightly.
Real cool, Steven.
Just like, I'm going to nonchalantly flick this piece of lint off of my lapel.
Like, what's worse, seeming nonchalant or seeming like you have dirty clothes?
Just You're visibly shaking.
He rested them on his knees and forced himself to look the DA in the eye. Garrison returned Stephen's gaze and cleared his throat before he spoke. I expected great things from you this summer, Wakefield. You come very highly recommended, and your grades were excellent. You carried yourself well, too, with maturity and confidence, and there's no lint on your lapels. I thought you had terrific potential, but Stephen's heart did a double backflip and then sank down to the soles of his shoes when he heard the word but. He found himself squirming in his chair and forced himself to be still. Somehow he managed to keep his gaze steady. But things don't work out the way I hoped, the DA went on. Being able to separate professional and private life is extremely important in this profession. Sir? Stevens began tentatively. My belief in Lila's innocence has nothing to do with our personal relationship. That's bull, and you know it, Stephen. Garrison thundered. Stephen's mouth snapped shut as the DA's face darkened from pink to crimson. His eyes flashed dangerously, and Stephen pressed himself back into his seat. Garrison sat down behind his desk and took a deep breath, obviously trying to compose himself.
An attorney has to think with his head, not his heart, Garrison said quietly, staring at Stephen with a grave expression. In the case of Lila Fowler, you showed me you're not able to do that. On top of that, you flagrantly disobeyed my instructions not to become involved with the girl. The DA unclasped his meaty hands and laid them flat on the desk.
Why are they so meaty?
I added the meaty that time, but they already said it. They already set up that his hands are meaty. I'm not going to ignore that.
Like
Also,
two big Jacobs.
I have a horrible joke.
Oh, okay.
So it's he just kept saying over and over again like how hard it was to keep his gaze steady.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bad joke is it's just like, because they're always dancing.
The gaze.
The gaze.
Thank you, John. That lets me know it was a good joke.
This internship is over, Garrison said firmly. The air whooshed from Stephen's lungs as he saw all his dreams of a career in law burst into flames before his eyes. You're being dramatic. He opened his mouth to protest, but all that came out with was a pathetic gasp, and it sounded like this. My report to the school will be as fair as I can make it, Garrison continued. But I'll have to tell the truth. I only hope that you've learned something from this experience and that you are able to put it to good use. The DA stood, walked to the door, and placed his meaty hand on the knob. Clean out your desk before you leave. Can I say something, sir? Stephen asked as he rose to his feet. He wasn't ready to retreat with his tail between his legs. He looked down at the DA and was suddenly grateful that he had height advantage.
Was he gonna fight him?
Can I say something, sir? I'm taller than you.
The Adonis that is Stephen Wakefield.
Yeah. The DA stuck his hands in his pockets. Make it brief, he said crisply, the meaty hands. All right, Stephen began. You said an attorney has to be objective, to think with his head and not with his heart. When I bailed Lila Fowler out of jail, I wasn't thinking with my heart. I was thinking logically. And logic tells me that every shred of evidence you have against Lila is circumstantial. Garrison rolled his eyes and walked back to his desk. You're just a rookie, Wakefield. You can't see what's staring you right in the face. Stephen crossed the room in one long stride.
Jesus, he is tall.
Yeah. And leaned over the large desk to look Garrison straight in the eyes. What's staring me right in the face, Stephen said defiantly, is a law enforcer who's victimizing an innocent 16-year-old girl because finding the real culprit is just too complex.
Oh, man.
The DA jumped to his feet, his meaty fists clenched and his jaw set. Suddenly, Stephen's height advantage was inconsequential.
What?
Staring at...
He had mass.
Yeah, he's got a lot of mass. He's got meaty mass. Staring
Wide
at the powerful...
matters, too.
Staring at the powerful, enraged man, Stephen realized he could be in for the fight of his life if Garrison decided to take a swing.
What?
You don't fight people in an
The
office.
DA is not going to punch an intern in his own office.
But his 16-year-old girlfriend is innocent.
God. How dare you, the DA roared, beads of perspiration popping up along his forehead. Get out of this office right now before I make you wish you never met me.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, I know many people in the legal profession. None of them ever get crimson red and want to fight you in their office.
Pound their meaty fists on the desk.
Yeah.
No, like
Have fist fights.
Like they will dress you down and make you feel terrible, but come on.
Yeah, they fight with words, not with fists.
Yeah. They themselves don't want to get sued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone knows, it's them. It's like Law 101.
Anyway, wish she'd never met him. Too late, Stephen thought as he straightened up. He kept his eyes fixed on Garrison's face for a prolonged moment, and then turned and walked slowly towards the door. His knees were like jello, but there was no way he was going to let Garrison see how scared he really was, even though he walked in trembling. As he walked to his cubicle, no one in the office said a word. Stephen was sure they had all heard the end of his exchange with the DA. They probably all thought they would be fired if they were caught speaking to him. Stephen told himself not to look back. His internship might be over, but he had to focus on the task at hand, proving Lila's innocence. He couldn't waste any time feeling sorry for himself. He could only spend time feeling sorry for Lila.
Okay, is this a Bryan Adams song? Because it's a Bryan Adams song, am I right?
Stephen was not a boy of summer.
That's Don Henley, but
Whatever. Stephen stiffly went through the motions of cleaning out his desk. He quickly opened drawers and started pulling out items that belonged to him. The silver pen his parents had given him, his leather appointment book, some notebooks he'd brought in. He stuffed everything into his briefcase at random.
Analog.
Suddenly, something fell out of one of the notebooks and fluttered to the linoleum floor. Stephen bent down to pick it up and drew his breath in sharply. It was a picture of Billy from a hike they'd taken together only a couple of months ago. Gee, I wonder which one of his siblings or both of them put that in his thing.
Oh my God.
She smiled out at him from the glossy surface, her blue eyes twinkling and her chestnut hair pulled back in a ponytail.
Chestnut hair. Me, yeah. I feel like these books are always doing that, where they're like, what's the most exotic hair color we can give a girl? Oh, I know.
Brown.
Chestnut, like a horse.
A pang of regret stabbed Stephen's heart as he sank into the rickety wooden chair at his desk. The encounter with Garrison slipped from his mind as he stared into Billy's laughing eyes. Lila had been so constant in his thoughts that he hadn't even thought of Billy in days. Now he was surprised at how much he missed her. Everything was so comfortable with Billy, he thought.
She never said anything on fire.
Yeah, she never went to jail for arson.
Stephen recalled the picnics, the trips to the lake, all the nights they'd curled up together with a pizza and a good video.
Swing.
Things that Lila would never enjoy doing.
Did you say swing at the pizza?
I mean,
And the video.
Okay.
that is how Wayne's
But it was a combo deal.
Okay.
Feelings of confusion tore through him. He had thought he was over Billy, but he couldn't be. It couldn't be, as if he was so overcome with emotion. He held a picture tightly. It's funny in a sad, strange way that it was this internship that broke us up, Stephen mused. Billy had thought that Stephen was putting his work ahead of her. I mean, probably. But now he had lost both the internship and the love of his life. What about Lila?
Yeah, he's very fair weather. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
He's
of his
very
life.
suggestible.
Yes,
Or
he's very
hot
suggestible. Hot arson.
And how old is he again?
He's probably
20.
like
28?
He can't be.
Did you say 28?
I don't know.
I was thinking like 20. Like it feels like he's right out of high school because I think he's in college doing an
Right
internship.
out of high school is like 18.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I hope he's only 18.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be anywhere near. He wouldn't be anywhere near law school until he was at least 22.
Yeah, that's true.
But if he's doing pre-law and he's got an internship.
Yeah, but what about internships, John? What about internships at the DA's office? Does that even exist?
I have no fucking clue.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I 100% believe you are the actual expert in the room on this one. Okay.
And he shook his head as he replaced the picture in his notebook. Billy had been so cold to him in the last days before he left. Maybe I didn't try hard enough to make her understand, Stephen thought. Maybe I just couldn't find the words to explain that my work didn't come before Billy. It was just as important, in a different way. He sighed.
It wouldn't do any good to think about that now. It was time to get on with his life, and that meant getting out of this office. So he's really taking it one step at a time.
And proving his teenage arsonist girlfriend's innocence.
Suddenly, a thought popped into his head. The evidence room. Once he left the building, there was no way he'd ever get a chance to look at the Fowler case evidence again. If he was still going to help Lila clear her name, he was going to have to get one last look at the items locked away in that room. This is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna end. Yeah.
Luckily I've never been like fired to the point where I would have to leave the premises.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what I've learned from various movies is that when this occurs, a security guard.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was just thinking. Like, in someone walks you out, even if it's not security. But in this circumstance, I would imagine it would definitely be security.
I'm trying to remember when I was fired from Discovery if they escorted me. I don't think they escorted me out. But it also wasn't like I wasn't like, I'm going to get one good last look at this thing before I go. I was
Let me go look at some secret files.
Yeah.
Gonna take pictures of Bear Grylls' dick.
Yeah.
I already had those pictures.
When people got fired where I worked, somebody walks them out.
Yeah.
Because you have to like turn in your badge and stuff.
Well,
and
yeah.
someone kind of make sure that happens.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who I hailed. I gave my. I don't think I needed my badge to get out, so I think I had to give my badge in
like right away.
To like the HR people.
I think that's what you have to do immediately.
So like I was able to. Well, yeah, I was able to leave.
That seems crazier because then you just like you don't have any ID that you would work there, and you're on your own and fired.
I was literally able to just get out of the building and the garage, but like not back in or into any rooms that would require like swiping a badge.
Yeah.
Also, if you were like threatening to fight the DA and people heard you, I would think
just got all up in his face.
You know?
Yeah, that was technically an altercation.
Yeah.
Nope, it was a simpler time. Quickly, he glanced around the office. Now, the fact that no one wanted to make eye contact with him seemed like a blessing. He started taking his clothes off. It would make sneaking into the restricted area unnoticed a whole lot easier. This sounds like Harry Potter.
Oh my God!
Stephen cast a nervous glance at the door to Garrison's office. It was closed. It was now or never. Stephen casually wandered down the hall and into the law library, doing his best to blend in with the bustling office activity. The shelves in the large room were lined with thick volumes bound in dark green and brown.
Schwing.
Stephen had spent several hours there doing research for the DA, sometimes working far into the night. Stephen walked swiftly through the empty library to the small, dingy room at the far end where evidence was kept. But
I just love that. It's just like you just got fired for supporting your teenage girlfriend who's accused of arson, and your first thought is, I'm going to break more laws.
Yeah.
to do the thing that got me fired.
Also, and again, John, this may be a question for you. What evidence is kept there and not at the fucking police station?
None.
Right? There's no evidence. There's not an evidence room in a law office.
There's nothing that could be, that needs to be temperature controlled in a law office, unless it's like, old cases from like 1957 or something.
Unless the DA's in the same building as the police station. We don't know how big this town is.
But
Dubious.
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 And also, like, that sounds like a really lovely law library with like handsome leather bound, which like there are, but there's also a ton of like ordinary binders.
Just like binders, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like plastic binders.
Oh,
They did things differently in 1992. I don't know when this was.
I don't know. A guard stood outside with a sign-in sheet. Stephen swallowed nervously as he approached. If the guard knew that Stephen had been fired, there was no chance he would get into the room. But the tall blonde officer merely handed Stephen the clipboard and pen. Stephen scribbled his name and the date. If anyone questioned him later, he could tell them he was in there before he got fired. Oh, I guess I don't have to write the time. Stephen handed the clip... What are they going to do, fire you again? Stephen handed the clipboard back to the guard and slipped into the room, closing the door softly behind him. The cubbyholes lining the walls held all kinds of items. Gloves and sunglasses, bags containing fragments of hair and scraps of clothing, spoons and broken shards of mirror.
what?
At the DA's office. Each piece of evidence was tagged and numbered for future reference in a trial or hearing. Stephen walked up to the section marked Fowler Crest Case. It's still my case, whether I'm working for the DA or not, he assured himself fiercely. He examined the items he'd already studied dozens of times. The matches found in Lila's pocket, the monogram gloves that still smelled of gasoline, the bomb paraphernalia.
Okay, but see, Stephen, you're fired. So it's not your case anymore. And also, you're an intern.
Well, yeah, like, what's he gonna do even if he solves it? Like, call up with an anonymous tip and hope they give a shit?
Yeah. He's ridiculous. This doesn't
You
make
did
sense.
not think this through, young man.
No, he did not.
Then something he hadn't seen before caught his eye. He glanced over his shoulder nervously before picking it up. It appeared to be a piece of the bomb that had caused the chaos at Palomar House. What could this charred, melted hunk of metal prove? Stephen turned the item over, and his heart pounded. Painted on the surface was a soda brand logo, a logo that was very familiar. Pro Sport Lemon, Stephen whispered.
Pro Sport Lemon Soda?
What is happening?
Well, remember that stuff, All Sport?
No.
Nope.
Am I the only one that remembers it?
That sounds familiar.
I don't remember it.
I think he's going to reference something from a previous book. A picture of John Pfeiffer's untidy desk at the Oracle office flashed through his mind. The piles of papers,
That guy.
the candy wrappers, and the half-empty soda can. Pro Sport Lemon Soda. Pro Sport Lemon Soda. Suddenly,
Sport. Sorry, I thought we were going to keep going.
Pro Sport is, or all Sport is like Gatorade.
Ah.
But this also sounds like Gatorade, except that they kept
Except that it's
saying
soda and it's in a can.
it was a real
Yeah, what
brand.
the fuck?
It's Fanta.
All Sport was a brand of something that looks like Gatorade.
Yeah.
Not a soda.
Yeah. This is Fanta.
Suddenly, Stephen felt charged
Ooh,
with
lemon
electricity.
Fanta. I'd drink that.
He wanted to run into the DA's office holding the fragment of the soda can and
No.
tell him how it unquestionably linked John Pfeiffer to the restaurant bombing and to framing Lila
he's
for the
only guy that
crime.
drinks soda.
Yeah, definitely.
Correlation is not causation, you dumb bitch. Which obviously meant that he also framed her for the torching of Fowler Crest. He was halfway to the door before he stopped short. Don't make the same mistake you did before, Stephen, he told himself. You went to the DA. You went to the DA too soon without thinking everything out. Stephen returned the tagged fragment of metal to the cubbyhole. He knew that if he removed it,
Oops.
from the evidence room, it would automatically be considered tampered with, and it would be inadmissible in court.
At least he's thinking slightly clearly.
Yeah. Also, a crime, maybe? I don't know.
Dude, he's committing so many crimes.
Yeah, I think being in there at all is a crime.
That's true. Yeah, you could probably get arrested.
He couldn't risk that. It was the one piece of evidence that could clear Lila's name. Stephen crossed the door slowly this time. He had some work to do. And until he was certain of every last fact, he wasn't even gonna try to talk to the TA. And he
Good.
was no longer invited to his birthday party. I did learn something during this internship, Garrison, Stephen thought with a wry smile. If you want something done right, you better do it yourself.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
Lila studied Stephen's hands as he clutched the steering wheel of his yellow VW. Such strong hands. They could be gentle, too.
Oh, boy.
Strong enough for a man, but good enough for a woman. She remembered those hands stroking her hair as he held her, as he kissed her. A flash of irritation banished the image from her mind. Stephen had told her there was an important development in the case, but they had been driving for 15 minutes.
15 minutes? Oh, it's an eternity.
He hadn't even hinted what the news might be. Lila fidgeted I can't even say that. Fidgeted in her seat.
Fidgeted. That's
Whatever.
No, I can't.
Her emotions were jumbled and confused, in spite of the supercharged electricity between them. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I know. I'm like,
Maybe,
Is it?
by whose
Is
definition?
there? Yeah.
maybe she and Stephen weren't meant to be. She felt a prickle of disappointment as she remembered his letter.
Lila glanced at Stephen's profile. I can't tell him how I feel about that letter now, she told herself. Not when he lost his job because of me. That's even less money he'll have to support us with all of our babies that he wants. You said you had something to tell me. Stephen. Lila tried to keep the edge of impatience out of her voice. What is it? It's been 15 minutes. She smoothed her black and white checkered skirt. You're just going to have to wait a little while longer, Stephen said, keeping his eyes on the road. Why? Lila blurted. What kind of game are you playing? You said you had to see me right away, so I canceled my manicure, which, by the way, I needed desperately. So why don't you just tell me already while I pick at my chapped nails?
Chapped?
I don't know. It's something that happens
When
to
you're
rich
rich,
people's
they get
hands.
chapped.
Yeah, see, Chris knew.
Don't act like that makes sense.
When you're rich, it makes sense.
When you're rich, it makes sense. Stephen just laughed and shook his head. I'm not going to tell you, idiot. I'm going to show you, he said. Lila watched, confused, as Stephen turned the car into the parking lot of the Shop and Hop convenience store. Just
Horrible
be patient. I know.
I bet they have great food, though.
Just be patient and you'll see, he said. Patience wasn't Lila's strong suit. See what? She snapped. Take it easy, he said with a lighthearted chuckle.
Take it easy.
When you see what I have to show you, I have a hunch you'll be very happy. Is he just going to go buy a can of that fucking soda?
Hosted snowballs.
Probably. Oh my god, yeah. Stephen was smiling as he pulled into a parking space right in front of the tall windows that made up the front wall of the little store. His joviality grated on Lila's already fraying nerves. Calm down, she told herself. If he's really cracked the case, this whole nightmare could be over before brunch tomorrow.
And brunch is rich people's favorite meal.
Yeah. Stephen hopped out of the car and crossed to open Lila's door. Really? Come on, let's go get a soda, he said, offering his hand.
Oh my god.
A sports one.
Lila took it, but continued to pout as they made their way inside.
Okay.
Stephen!
You don't bring a girl like that to a convenience store. is
But
all I'm saying.
also, look, man, if Dill is like, I'm gonna take you to get a soda, I'm gonna be like, sweet, he's gonna buy me a soda. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's,
Free soda.
yeah.
Steven,
I
she said as she eyed the garish posters advertising $1 gallons of milk. Oh man, remember? And various brands of ice cream. It's just so expensive
I
now.
know.
If you wanted to get something to drink, we could have gone downtown for an espresso, or at least to the Dairy Burger. Dairy
Burger.
Dairy
Why?
with 2 eyes.
Probably wasn't allowed to say Dairy Queen.
Dairy with 2 eyes?
There's an I instead of a Y at the
Oh.
end.
Oh.
They should have at least put a hyphen in there.
Yeah. We had to come here, Stephen interrupted. What was he talking about? What was so special about this cheesy convenience store? Stephen opened one of the beverage cases. A blast of cold air hit Lila in the face. She backed away. I'm not thirsty. Go ahead, grab a soda, Stephen urged.
Oh my god.
Did I never notice how weird he is? Or is this the first time he's ever acted this strange? He is being pretty fucking weird.
Yeah, this is I thought I knew where he was going, but now I don't.
He's gonna see what soda she grabs, I guess. Because people only ever drink one brand of soda.
Right.
Obviously.
Like, if I'm in the right mood, I'm grabbing a Dr. Pepper instead of a Coke.
Yeah.
You know?
63 flavors?
Look,
You can't beat that.
Look, man, I only drink Mountain Dew in cans, and they don't have Mountain Dew in cans at a convenience store, so I'm getting myself a nice Coke.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta
Like-
pivot.
Yeah.
She reminded herself that he had just lost his job.
Maybe that explained his odd behavior. She let out a sigh and grabbed a bottle of sparkling seltzer.
Plus-
Stephen snatched it from her hand.
And smash it on the floor.
Lila almost yelped in surprise. Stephen, I'm beginning to think you've lost it, she said. I promise I'm not crazy, he answered, returning the seltzer to the case. I just thought you might like to try something different for a change. Be adventurous. He took another can of soda and gave it to her. How about this one? Pro Sport Soda? Lila asked, holding up the can. The label was black with huge red letters and a basketball drawn to look like it was bouncing out at her. Now she was
Did she get scared?
Pro Sport Soda!
Drink it while you shoot some hoops. Pro Sport Soda.
With electrolytes, what plants crave. Now she was sure Stephen had gone off the deep end. Just to humor him, she ran her finger across the list of ingredients. Are they serious? Lila blurted. I can't believe what they put in this stuff. Loads of potassium and vitamins and calories. You must be
Potassium
kidding,
and vitamins
Stephen.
are good for you.
Yeah, what?
Yeah,
What?
you get it.
What? You need those things.
Yeah.
Well, she's on a bird diet.
Mhm.
You absolutely need
Borrow
all
again.
those things.
Yeah.
I would never
I thought
drink
she was
this in
gonna
a
be like
million years.
Red dye number 5 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lila saw
Sodium
a smile
glucose.
flicker across Stephen's face. I just love the fact that he thinks a soda can,
Is evidence?
which he just very easily went into a convenience store and was able to acquire,
Yeah.
means
Yeah.
that because he saw one other person with a soda can,
Yeah.
it's them.
No one else drinks Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Hitler.
Hitler would
Lila
drink
saw-
Pepsi.
Lila saw a smile flicker across Stephen's
all know
face. This was exasperating. You and me both, Lila.
I know.
The more annoyed Lila became, the happier Stephen seemed. Is something funny? She snapped. No. Stephen shook his head, but his smile widened.
I think you're just proving my theory. Lila tapped her foot impatiently. I wish you'd tell me what was going on.
Oh my god.
She started to shove the soda back into the refrigerator, but Stephen pulled her hand back gently. Don't worry about the calories. What?
I like a big one.
What is happening?
Lila stared at him. He said they were going to talk about her case, and all he had done was taking her to this dive on the highway. Now he's forcing some icky sports drink on her. Please tell me this somehow has something to do with the case, Lila said, defeated. Did the arsonist douse the mansion with this stuff before he lit the fire or something?
Yeah, it's
I
highly
bet that's-
flammable.
I bet this junk could be substituted for gasoline. Stephen laughed wholeheartedly this time. Trust me, you'll understand in just a minute. He said as he walked to the counter to pay for the soda. You've got 5 more minutes, Stephen. Lila called to him as she breezed by the counter and out the door. After that, I'm calling the loony bin.
Are we reading more? I wasn't sure when we were
Oh.
stopping.
I didn't know that was the end of the chapter. Let's see real quickly. No reading ahead. And see how long it is.
I immediately look when you say that.
No, I said
I
don't
can
read
speed
ahead.
read.
Someone breathed.
Oh God, a dog. There's a dog.
A dog.
Why am I in the mood for all sport soda?
Oh, sports soda. Oh my God.
Is it a soda or is it like a Gatorade?
It's a Nana chapter.
Ooh.
Oh, nice. Well, it's also long as absolute fuck. So I have no idea how long the I have no idea how long that last thing that you recorded was.
I don't know what that chapter meant to establish at all.
Oh no, no clue.
I mean, that was a very involved soda subplot.
A soda subplot.
Well, next time we could probably just do all of chapter 5 since it's so long.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, yeah, let's just do, so we'll end it here. Okay. My God. What does that mean? What is...
I don't know why he's...
Proves nothing.
Okay,
it's not going to
It
work
does prove
anyway.
nothing.
And also just fucking tell her.
Yeah.
But he needs to show. Like, I don't
But
know.
show what, though? Show what is... That's my question. Show
Yeah,
what?
unless he took that evidence, which I hope he fucking didn't. There's nothing else
Yeah.
to show her.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I don't think young Steven is going to be a very good attorney.
Yeah.
So far, he's pretty shit at it.
I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
All
Is there
the legal
something about
TV I've
potassium
watched.
that like makes fire bombs? Is he gonna like prove that you can make a fire bomb out of that soda or something?
Also, like,
Oh my God.
Like,
I don't want to Google can you make a bomb out of potassium?
Like,
You already said it out loud, so we're fucked.
Well,
Everything's listening.
God damn it.
just in general, like,
hmm
when the mafia blows up a restaurant for the insurance money,
hmm
they generally don't do it when there are people inside,
Yeah.
right? Like, because people cost money.
Well, you do that when you're a terrorist.
Yes.
I
And I don't think she's accused of killing anyone.
no one died. They made a point to say that.
Then why did he blow up a restaurant?
This reporter.
I can't remember exactly what they were saying about that guy, John Pfeiffer. It's
Wasn't
just
he
that
like
was
a rapist?
rapist,
Yeah.
I think. But
Yeah.
was he obsessed with Lila at some point?
I don't
What?
remember.
Did he work at the school newspaper or like in a grown-up actual job newspaper?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't remember. Oh
Okay.
man.
Like, okay, journalists are paid shit now, but they were also paid shit in 1992.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah. It's not like
Where's-
they. Yeah.
We're supposed to believe that he can afford name brand soda.
So, like, why wasn't it a Shasta?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking Shasta.
or a
5 of them for
There
a
you go.
quarter.
or a jolt.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was a thing then, right?
Which,
Jolt.
as a child, was awesome.
What was that shit that
Did
had?
it have extra caffeine? I never had
Yeah,
Jolt.
Jolt.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Jolt had extra caffeine. Is that what I'm thinking? There was a drink I
Yeah.
remember that was before Surge, and it was like
Yeah, from the
Parents wouldn't
Oscar-winning
let-
movie Hackers. Jolt Cola.
Jolt. That didn't win Oscars, right?
I don't know.
It's
One of the greatest movies ever made.
I mean, Fisher Stevens certainly had to have swept every category he was
Yeah.
nominated in.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it won Best Picture that year.
Who could forget the supporting
And
actor
Penn
win
Jillette
from
was
Penn
in it.
Jillette? Yeah, I was just gonna say that. God damn it!
Matthew
boy.
Lillard.
Oh boy.
We
Johnny
were
Lee
just talking
Miller?
about Hackers the other day. I think we need to watch it again.
Let's watch it
Angelina
again. 'cause
Jolie.
It is.
That
It's
cast
very-
is stacked.
What did the year 1995 look like? like that.
Like that. Yeah.
Oh
What's his name? Oh, Johnny Lee. Did you say Johnny Lee Miller?
Yeah, Johnny Lee Miller.
Yeah.
man, Johnny Lee Miller.
Doing an American accent.
Which,
With his
I mean,
frosted tips.
as a child watching it, I didn't know he was for.
Neither did I. In fact,
that
I feel
great
like
line where he goes, "I'm zero cool."
Oh my god! I feel like when I saw him eventually, this always happens though. Whenever I see an English actor in something and they're American and they're doing an okay job, I'm like, oh, you're American. And then when I see them talk and they're British, I'm like, I would have never guessed.
I mean, you didn't.
Until you go back and listen to it, you're like, oh, you're so fucking British.
Yeah.
Look, man, I love The Wire
Ugh.
so much.
I know where you're going. I love The Wire too, but yeah.
Can we all agree that Dominic West is way too hot and British to be
a Baltimore
cop?
To be a what is he? Is he Irish or is he
His face
British?
is pinched in the right way.
Oh, he's Irish.
Like, he's perfect in the 1999 Mark Wahlberg vehicle Rockstar.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in that.
Along with future HBO All-Star Timothy Oliphant.
Oh, he's just all
We're
around.
big Olive fans here on the show.
Yeah. So,
everyone right now is a big Olive fan.
I'm just
Dominic
saying.
West is English.
He's English.
Dominic
Okay.
West was a really good KK Downing stand-in in Rockstar.
I don't know who that is.
The guitar player from Judas Priest.
Okay. The Dominic West in The Wire is so crazy because it's like, hey, this is a show about Baltimore with an inscrutable accent that is hard for some people to do, especially if you're not from here. So
Yeah.
let's get a bunch of people to be in the show who are from Baltimore. And then let's make the main character, let's cast an English dude, and he's just going to sound like he's in New York. He's just a New York cop. He's just going to...
I never really thought his like American accent was too terrible, but there's one scene where he specifically says he's doing a Dundalk accent when he's like doing all the weird fake serial killer bullshit.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that his Dundalk accent was so atrocious.
Oh, he's doing Dundalk, though, England.
Dundalk's in Ireland.
Ireland, god damn it! UK,
I
whatever.
was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Which
That was the only time I was really bothered.
He's like, I'm from Essex.
Yeah.
Essex, England.
No, I gotta say, like, Alex Hayes and I talked about, like, The Wire is so good until the last season when it's just David Simon, like, sniffing his own farts.
Oh, yeah. Well, the last
And
season's
by
just
the
like,
way-
no one cares about the newspaper.
By the way, I was a journalism major, and I was going through what they were talking about in that season, and even I was like, come on.
I feel like I'm a bit of a last season apologist. I love the last season of Lost and last season of Battlestar, and the last season of The Wire, I remember being really annoyed at first because they introduced so many new characters in the newspaper, and I'm like, I don't care about any of you people at all. Like, show me the kids, show me the drug dealers, like, show me the cops. Like, I don't care about this, but I do, like, I got really into it. Like, I don't know, like halfway through that season when the serial killer shit starts getting really bonkers out of control, I'm like, I'm kind of into how silly and stupid this is. Like, it gets...
Isn't he like
Well,
tying string
love-
on dead bodies and like biting them and shit?
Yeah, yes. He doesn't bite them, but he does. I think he grabs like dentures.
Yeah,
he like steals
putting
dentures.
teeth marks
and
on
he's putting
corpses.
teeth marks on corpses.
All I really remember is like how off the fucking rails he went.
Oh, he's like super drunk. Like he's like off the wagon, like drunk off his ass, tying string around corpses. And then there's a reporter who's lying as much as he is, and it's really fun. It's quite fun.
Wait, Dominic West becomes a serial killer?
No, he starts spoilers for the last season of The Wire.
I never watched it, so
He starts faking, because there's so many like derelict dead people in Baltimore. He starts faking. He'll like find he'll get called to the scene early, and then he comes up with a fake MO for a fake serial killer, and the whole thing is like because no one cares. He's trying to get people to care, and allocate resources to to like homicide and that kind of shit. So he literally creates a fake serial killer, and then it very quickly gets out of hand like it would. It's
like
fun.
with copycats or whatever? Or
No, I don't think there's a guy. I think it's just like
There's not.
he bites off more than he can chew
with his hands,
those
but not his...
dentures.
with those fake dentures. Yeah.
The stuff with the kids on the corner and Omar and all that stuff is really good.
Mhm.
Oh, that shows. I mean, yeah.
The other half is just like. And by the way, I also love movies about newspapers doing newspaper things. So like it hits all my boxes, but I'm like, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop being mad that people want to cover John Waters movies. Like,
yeah, that's right.
like okay,
Is that a plot point?
It's a plot point. So, yeah.
They want fluff pieces, not hard hitting stories.
Yeah, I don't want
Gil
to watch
from,
TV
Breaking Bad
shows
is in
about
it.
where I live.
All right, we got to stop talking about this.
Gil from Breaking Bad's in what?
Gil from Breaking Bad is one of the newspaper guys in the last season of The Wire.
Oh.
He's kind of the boss, I think. He might be the editor. I don't know.
I didn't remember.
Great actor.
Yeah.
Very good in Suits.
It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, the last season of The Wire is the worst season of The Wire, which is still better than most seasons of every single other TV show.
No, I agree. It doesn't like kill the show for me. And
yeah.
that last season, I like a lot of it.
It's hard to follow Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, but it's just really interesting to me how people are always like, "Oh, season 2 is the bad one," and I'm like,
so hard to disagree though.
None of them are bad, but like season 2 is underrated.
Season 2 is highly underrated. I made a off-color joke about season 2 of The Wire recently to I think my brother, but it was just like we were talking about the Key Bridge, and I was like, I wonder how many people are gonna change their tune on because everyone hates the second season of The Wire, and I'm just like, I wonder how many people are going to specifically now go watch the second season of The Wire.
It's already a meme.
And be like, yeah, I know, it's annoying.
The one thing that really bugs me, and I know the only reason that this poster was up there is because they probably got a deal with TBT Records. But, you know, Nikki has all these, like, butt rock posters up in his room.
Nikki Sabatka.
Yeah, and then there's, like, but then, like, right dead center is a Guided by Voices poster. And I'm like, there is no way this guy...
Listens to Nickelback and Guided by Voices.
Who has a Chevelle poster right next, you know what I mean? Like,
it's amazing. I never would have noticed that.
Oh, it's the kind of thing where I notice, like, I can't help it.
It was Frank's Sabatka's poster, and Nikki just never took it down.
That would make me so happy.
Oh man. Wire deep cut jokes, guys. That's what you come to this.
I like the duck at the bar. Okay, and now we should.
The duck at the bar that they.
I like when he had the duck at the bar.
Yeah. Chris, go watch The Wire.
No.
Stop watching Grey's Anatomy and watch The Wire.
I did stop watching Grey's Anatomy.
That's good.
It's still on. Good for him. Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. They're getting paid, but it's just like at some point, it's just like go work at a different hospital.
This one's
like,
haunted
clearly
or
that
right?
hospital is cursed, and bad shit happens all the time.
John,
there's other hospitals in Seattle.
I'm the one that brought up Grey's Anatomy, and then immediately I'm just like, no, I don't want to talk about this.
I regret this decision immediately.
John, thank you for reading this.
Thank you for having me. I'm
crazy
really,
shit.
I really hope that she finds the soda of her dreams.
Me too. Me too. What would you like to plug for anyone listening?
You can watch me pontificate about mostly professional wrestling on TikTok while it is still legal. John Nagle 783. It's really weird. Apparently people really like me just yelling at Tony Khan for being a bad wrestling promoter. Because, you know.
I love that for you.
It's good for me.
I don't get it, but I also love it for you.
It's very healthy. As Dylan says, you don't have to watch. And I'm like, yes, I do.
I understand that struggle. Yeah.
It's your stories.
Chris, what would you like to let people know about?
I would love to let people know about The Sketchy Show.
I hear it's good.
Kind of the sister show to this one, where it's me and Jonathan and our other buddy who is a returning champion to this show, John Walker, where we improvise sketches very maddeningly with a lot of nonsense, and then all of a sudden Jonathan comes in and edits it and adds sound effects and music, and it sounds really fucking great when he's done with it. While we're recording it, we're like, I don't know if this is good. And then we listen to it, we're like, oh man, we're good at this. So go check out the Sketchy Show.
I love
wherever you get your podcasts.
I love your inside baseball way of promoting the Sketchy Show, which is like talking about how it's recorded and then edited. You talk about like specifically the post-production.
Well, I like being honest about the improv nature of it.
Yeah.
We break a lot. We're bad at it.
we're very good at it, I think. Go listen to that. Listen to more of this show. Follow Below Grade Level on Instagram. And you can follow me on Instagram, too, at John Brack, and on TikTok as well. I post a lot of clips from this show and the Sketchy Show and just general fun stuff. So, Bekah, anything you want
to
tell people?
All that stuff.
Okay.
Listen to that stuff.
Bekah's going to go take a nap.
Yes, I'm going to take a nap and wake up in the morning.
I'm going to take a long nap through the night.
Through the
night. Okay, find out what happens with Sweet Valley High fighting fire with fire. I keep forgetting.
Fight fire
with fire next time on Below Grade Level. We love you. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Below Grade Level is a Cactus Radio production. You can contact us at podcast@cactusrodeo.com. Subscribe and follow on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify, and follow Cactus Rodeo on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more entertainment and updates.
Look the same at Sweet Valley, Sweet Valley. You're standing next to. One thing is for sure, you can be sure of nothing. Lots of gossip going round about this one, that one. Not too many secrets left